Ah, bollocks.
Okay guys, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. I hope you've all had a decent week. Apologies for the lack of content this week. It does actually seem like a long time ago that I put out a video. Well, I've seen a long time ago. It was a week ago. The reason being is, well, obviously the last video I put out was the Friday Waffle, which was last Friday. I recorded it during the day because I was on holiday. The only other video I put out this week was the shoot 'em ups beginning with the letter A. Now I actually recorded that about 2 weeks ago, so it does feel like a while since I've put out a video, so apologies for lack of content, but I'm sure you've had more than enough stuff from other channels to keep you entertained. I've had a particularly busy week this week, especially at work. I was asked to take on a project based on my knowledge and expertise of the job I did before. Oddly enough, they don't think, I didn't actually get a job doing my old job, but they want me to do this project thing on top of what I'm doing at the moment, so I've just been stupidly busy. I was also audited Tuesday, Wednesday this week, so it's just been really daft and I've literally not had any opportunity to get a video put out. This week wise, gaming, have I been up to anything? I was playing my C64 again. In fact, no, I wasn't playing my C64, I was playing my SNES. Playing a bit of Pilot Wings. Still absolutely shite at it, but it's an amazing game. So I was actually playing that on my proper SNES. So yeah, had the computer club on Wednesday. Yep, I took along my ColecoVision. One thing I've noticed in the computer club, we call ourselves the Edinburgh Retro PC Club. There appears to be less and less retro stuff. I was watching a video that we recorded about 3 years ago from the club, and it was just chock-a-block of old systems, everything. But it seems that more and more of us, although we've still got the systems, we still own the systems, more and more of us are kind of, you know, we're kind of taking along things like Raspberry Pis and things like that. So it seems that we're starting to kind of, I wouldn't say lose the patience, but you know, well, the perfect example, I took along my ColecoVision, and I probably took about half an hour trying to get the thing tuned. The picture was absolutely crisp, and I could not figure out how to get the TV to sort of tune the picture. But what I realised was, if you're watching the picture and you flick it down to like program 2, then back up to program 1 again, the sound sort of kicks in. So yeah, it's a kind of great reminder on, although I love playing original hardware, it's definitely a bit of a palaver, you know. That's that's one thing about it. So aye, that's it. Anything else? I got an email yesterday from Ticketmaster, because I do like to kind of try and go to gigs, and Jean-Michel Jarre is playing Glasgow. Now, I've been a massive fan. I say a massive fan goes to concerts, a massive fan buys music. I don't. When I say a massive fan, I enjoy listening to his music. Like a lot of people my age, you know, Jean-Michel Jarre was the sound of a generation. He really brought, you know, synthesizers and whatnot screaming into the sort of, you know, into mainstream. Obviously a lot of groups, Depeche Mode, all these kind of synth bands kind of took over, but I loved all original stuff like Oxygen, Equinox, all these kind of things. Is it Zuluka, I think it is. And I've never ever had an opportunity to see him. I don't think he's ever played Scotland before. So anyway, I got an email saying that he was playing Glasgow in October, I think it is. So I went online and managed to get a couple of tickets for me and my mate, so I'm really looking forward to that. So that is it. Anything else? Don't think so, no. It's not been a very kind of video game week as such. Can't think of anything else. No. I was supposed to be, I'm hopefully going to be tying up with Mr. Bagley this weekend. There's a thing called V-Time, and it is basically, it's a sort of, I wouldn't say it's a social media, I hate this pigeonholing, social media, oh it's social media. It's basically you put your VR headset on, and you're in a room, or you're on a spaceship, or you're sitting on the edge of a cliff, or you're in outer space. Basically, you're sitting in this environment with other people. You've got to have like a headphone on, so you're turning your head to look at somebody who's talking to you, and you can actually hear them talking. I don't think it goes as far as like syncing your lips or anything like that nonsense. I mean, it wouldn't have any way of doing that. But yeah, it's meant to be pretty cool. So Jim invited me into a V time last night, but by the time I got his message, he was playing a game and he was going to give me a shout when he finished the game, but it got too late, so I had to kind of call it a day. But I'm hopefully going to tie up with Jim this weekend, give it a blast. So I'm looking forward to that. Anything else? Talking to VR, I see Sony have at last announced a price for their whatever it's called. I don't even know the name of the VR thing for Sony, but it's going to be in Europe, or in the retail shop in the UK, it's going to be £350 for the headset thing. Now, there seems to be a bit of confusion as to what you require. On the forum that I'm a member of, somebody was saying that you need the camera, and you also need one of the, is it the Move, is it called the Move? It's like the wee thing with the plastic ball on the top. I think you might need one of these. Then somebody else said that this VR thing has all that built in, so I really don't know. I think you may need the Move thing to kind of interact your hand, whatever it is, I don't know. But 350 quid is going to cost. Is that going to be an impulse buy? I don't think so, because the PS4 itself can be gotten for under £200. So if little Johnny is wanting a VR headset and a PlayStation 4, it's going to cost their mum and dad just under, it's going to cost them 550 quid, which is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, considering it could turn out to be something that's not really used. Honestly, I mean, if you've not tried any sort of VR, and you want to sort of see how you get on with it, because believe you me, VR is one of these things, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people get hugely motion sickness with it. So I think I certainly wouldn't want to spend, I wouldn't want to spend like £400-500 on a headset and find out that I can't use it. So I would definitely encourage you to try one before you buy it. If you do happen to have a Samsung phone, then go and get yourself the VR headset, the V-Gear thing. I mean, I still love mine. I've since discovered that there's a thing that you can put on it, which allows you to stream. Well, it's supposed to allow you to stream Steam games from your PC onto the headset and basically watch it on a huge cinema screen. Now, I gave that a shot, and yeah, it is pretty good. You do get a bit of stuttering, I have to say. Apparently you need a faster sort of router that does a certain frequency or something, I'm not too sure, which mine doesn't have. But what I figured out you could actually do, you can start Steam, and then you get it in the headset. Then if you use, is it Control and Alt Tab button, you can then narrow it down so you can actually see the Windows wallpaper or desktop in the VR thing. And then what I managed to do was I was running MAME, I was playing Galaxian in like a 60-foot IMAX size screen, playing various MAME games. They all work absolutely fine. Then what I did was I put on, I've got a AC/DC live concert on, it's an HD DVD thing. I was playing that and had the headphones on, and it's mental. It's absolutely mental. I had the screen, I mean the screen was, I don't know, if you imagine sitting at the cinema from the second row, the screen was like huge. I was actually having to turn my head to sort of take in the whole screen. I was looking up and down. So I was actually on stage with them. It was just phenomenal, and the quality, I've got to say, was really impressive. I thought it would be quite stuttery, and I thought it would be quite pixelated, but I've got to say the quality is superb. Don't get me wrong, there's some, there's a lot of, you know, sort of like video snobs out there who'd probably say the quality is rubbish, but it's certainly not, it's not HD, anything like that. But I was blown away. I actually watched half the concert with this, you know, headset on with the headphones. Just brilliant, really good. So I would, if you have got an access to if you've got your own Samsung phone, I would definitely encourage you to either go and try the VR thing out, buy it, you know, it's only 90 quid after all. If you don't have a Samsung phone, if you can't get a loan of one, get yourself the Google Cardboard thing. I would definitely recommend you try out one of the cheaper options first before you take the leap into the PlayStation 1. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know, I've got no idea what games are going to be supported. I mean, what I was thinking about is, for VR to work, the system has to output 2 identical images. So you're not going to get Call of Duty the way you can play it on your TV just now, because it's going to have to display 2 images at once. So they're going to have to tone down the graphics. You know, it may have to tone down the sound a wee bit as well. I'm not too sure. Games are going to be a bit more simplistic, but I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what comes out. Will I buy one? Probably. I've already fallen in love with VR. It is definitely the future. There's some people, I mean, I was laughing on, was it Facebook? I made a post about something, and somebody commented, sort of, it wasn't slagging it off, but it was like, oh, you know, he was almost like dissing it. And it turns out that this person hadn't even tried VR. Now, there's nothing that annoys me more than somebody knocking something when they don't know anything about it. They've never even tried it. By all means, if you've tried something and you don't like it, you're perfectly entitled to say, I don't like it, whatever. But people who make their mind up about something without even trying it, don't know about that. But I will definitely be buying it when it comes out. 350 quid. That says, I don't know if you need the camera as well, I'm not too sure, but I shall find out. So, right, okay. Now I say this every single week. It's going to be a short waffle because I don't have a great deal to talk about. Saying that, I've actually got 3 things written down, so you never know. Someday I was looking on a forum or something, I can't remember what it was, and people were talking about the 3DS, and somebody asked, can you get one of these sort of piracy cards so that you can have multiple games in it. Now I did have a look. I did a bit of research into these maybe 6 months ago. Apparently you can get a card. It's I think you can only have 1 game in it at any one time, then you can take it off and put another game on it. But you know what, it's got me thinking, can you have too many games for a system? Absolutely. Now most people watching this, I would imagine, either owned or still owns a PlayStation. Now unless you were extremely rich or extremely good, a law-abiding citizen, you probably had backups for your PlayStation. I mean, when I bought my PlayStation, I did buy some games for it, and then within a very short space of time I found out that you could get a chip fitted. I mean, I took mine to Glasgow to get a chip fitted. It cost me like £100. But when you were paying 45 quid for a game, to suddenly find out that you can actually play a game for nothing, then, you know, or for £5, then I was in. The PlayStation apparently became one of the most pirated systems ever. I mean, I can always remember like going to, there was an open air market in Livingston, not in Livingston, in Edinburgh, Ingliston Market, and it was always a hotbed for computer piracy. Not so much 8-bit, I wouldn't say, but when 16-bit came along, it was the Atari ST, the Commodore Amiga, then it was the PCs, PC discs. Everybody probably can remember the blobby discs. There were these like compilation with various PC games. Then after that, the PlayStation came out, and very shortly they started selling PlayStation games. Now I used to go along there and, you know, buy maybe 5 games, cost me 25 quid. My mate would buy 5 and then we'd take them home and copy them. But yeah, it got to a point that everybody, even non-computery geeky type people like myself, everybody had a chipped PlayStation. Now personally, I must have had, I don't know how many games I must have had. I must have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. and the majority of them I never actually played, because it was I call it the PlayStation syndrome. You've simply got too many games. You put a disc in, you make sure it works, it boots up, you take the disc out, put it into your collection, and then you move on. Now the worst system that I found that suffered because of the PlayStation syndrome was the original, not the original, it was the DS Lite. There was a card called R4 which was as cheap as anything. It was about 20-30 quid to buy. You could put like an 8 gig SD card in it, then you could put 100 games in it. So like a lot of people, I got one of these things, and initially it was fantastic. Here you are, you've got this fantastic system in your back pocket, you've got 100 games for it. It just seemed like an absolute dream come true. But you know what? It absolutely killed the system for me. I simply never ever played it. Why? I think just because there were so many games. You put a game on, you play it for 10 seconds, and unless it hooked you right away, you'd think, nah, I'm going to try Super Mario Kart. Nah, I'm going to try whatever. It absolutely ruined that system, and I still have, do I regret it? Possibly I do. I feel like I missed out on the DS because of that card, because I had access to virtually every game. I mean, you could download them online dead easy. I feel I really lost out on the DS, which is a shame. It was my own fault. So, would I get something like that for a modern system? Probably not, because it does too many games isn't good. And it's not even just piracy games. Having too many games, full stop, is bad. The number of people that I know, and I'm guilty of it as well, you buy a game, it goes on your shelf, and then 6 months later you realise you've never even opened the game. Having too many games is just silly. I've always maintained the best way to actually play video games, I would say, is buy one system, buy a game. By all means, go out and buy the latest game. Is it the Division? I think it is. That's the game that folk are talking about. Go out and buy the game, buy the Division, pay 45 quid for it, whatever it costs you. Play it, because that's the only system you've got. You're going to actually play it. Play it until you complete it. Might take you 2-3 weeks, because that's the only system you're going to play. You're going to complete it fairly quickly. Take it back to game, get 30 quid for it. It's cost you £15 for a brand new game. That is the best way, I would say, to actually run a computer game system. I can't say anything because I've got literally thousands and thousands and thousands of games. Yep, I'm looking up there at all these ridiculous games that I've got that I never even play. But yeah, having too many games kill a system? Absolutely. Too much isn't always a good thing. So, thoughts, guys? Is there a system that you find you never got your money's worth because you had too many games for it? Give me your thoughts, comments. Right, okay. I know Steve Benway has made a point of talking about this in the past, and it's Facebook. It's being auto-added to groups. Now, it's not something that really bothered me too much for the first few years. I would say in the last 6 months, I mean, there's a Facebook page for selling stuff, buying and selling. Now, I've been on it for a couple of years. It's a really good site, don't get me wrong, it's really, really good. But because I'm on that, I'm constantly getting automatically added onto other Amiga stuff for sale, Commodore 64 group. There was one added me yesterday, and I mean, I didn't even know I'd been added. The first thing I knew was you get all these notifications, and it was one of these selling sites, and I'm constantly getting these notifications. So I've left the group, and there's that one. Then there was another one a couple of weeks ago. It really, really pisses me off. I mean, how dare people decide that they are going to add me to a group? It's like somebody coming to your door and putting a DVD into your TV and saying, right, watch that, that's what you're going to watch. At least have the decency, why not post a link to it on somebody's Facebook page saying you might be interested in that? But this bullshit, it's just been automatically added to a Facebook page. Nah, I'm just, that pisses me off. I know it's a, in the scale of things going on in the world right now, it's a very, very, very minor thing, but it does irritate me. People just, who don't, I mean, it's, the best of it is, it's people who don't even know you, but because you're on another similar Facebook page, people think, yeah, he wants to be part of that. In fact, they probably don't even think that that you want to be part of it. Because they've got your name and whatever it is, your username, they just add your name, and before you know it, you're a member of this group. So yeah, that does kind of piss me off. Aye. Anyway, right, last one. This was something, again, Steve Benway. He was on Facebook tonight talking about something. Now, Steve mentioned that he's been approached to review some video game books. Now, what he says is the books are basically, it's just a collection of stills from games. I don't think there's an awful lot of writing in them. Now, Steve kind of went off on a bit of a rant about, you know, he's got no time for books like that. He doesn't see the point of them because at the end of the day, you can just go in, you know, you can go into Google and look at pictures of a game. You don't need to buy a book. What I did say was, I mean, he was kind of asking, who do these books appeal to? I would say, I mean, I've got to say, I mean, I've got a few Chris Wilkins's books, and they're brilliant. They're, you know, to be fair to Chris, they're not just screenshots. He goes into a lot. He goes to all the bother. He actually interviews developers, writers, programmers. His books are excellent. But I have got some books, and I've seen some books in the past where it literally, it's just like a collection of screenshots out of games. Who do they appeal to? I suppose they do appeal to like die-hard collectors. There are some people who are so obsessed with this hobby that they want everything. They want all the books, everything related to this hobby, even though they can fire a game up and play it. What I personally think that there's a section of people out there. Probably the last time they saw Spectrum, it was like 1984. They've probably never played a video game for like 20-30 years. I would imagine these are the kind of people that would probably enjoy looking at a book that's got photographs of Manic Miner, photographs of Jet Set Willy, whatever, because they think, oh, look at that, I remember that. But for people like ourselves, we're not just remembering, we're actually experiencing, you know, old games, old systems, because that's what we play. So I don't need a book with photographs to remind me about a game. But it got me thinking. Now, if I was to make a video, apologies guys, it just, I think it must have hit the 2 gig file size. Yeah, if I was to put out a collection of games, you know, Manic Miner, Jet Set Willy, Exploding Fist, all these games, and sell them for me to pocket the money without giving any credit to the programmers, then that would be disallowed because it's piracy. You're trying to make money based on other people's work. What is the difference between, you know, somebody putting together a book of just having screenshots, really no input of anybody, you know, they're not making any effort to try and talk about the game or interview somebody who just puts together a book full of snapshots and screenshots from games and then sells it for profit. Surely that is no better than somebody trying to sell a collection of pirated games and keeping the money, because at the end of the day you are making money selling stuff that has been created by somebody else. Now, I don't know, I'm sure one or two of the people that sell these books, they may give credit to the publishers and pay them. Unlikely, I think. Is that wrong? Should somebody be able to profiteer by selling a book that's just full of screenshots when the screenshots, they're not their intellectual property, they belong to other people? I mean, it's I suppose the whole sort of classic video games thing, you know, copyright, it's a can of worms. I mean, you may remember last year, I think it was, Elite Systems were going to be selling, what were they selling? They were selling, it was in fact down the rabbit hole, no, it wasn't down the rabbit hole, it was Craig Ferguson. He actually put up a video it's one of these, it looks like an original Rubber Keyed Spectrum, but all it is it's a Bluetooth keyboard, so you can connect this Bluetooth keyboard to any device that obviously uses Bluetooth. It looks exactly like a Spectrum. I mean, it looks really, really good. But apparently when this was sold initially, Elite had actually, they were going to include X number of games. Or am I talking rubbish? I can't remember. It was Elite Systems were selling something fairly recently, and they were bundling all these games. But what they omitted to do was actually ask the publishers or the programmers if it's alright for, you know, them to include their games. Apparently they didn't even ask for permission. So this company was then going to profiteer of other people's work, which you simply can't do. That is wrong, that's piracy. So is there any difference between somebody trying to sell a book that's just got fully screenshots? Don't get me wrong, if there's a lot of text in it, if they're doing a bit of research, you know, the stuff like what Chris puts out, he does a lot of research, he speaks to the programmers, you know, he always gives credit and that kind of stuff. It's a book with, you know, photographs in it, but you do get some of these books, they're just full of screenshots from games. Should the publisher, you know, I mean, at the very least they should certainly give credit to those people that have actually written the games, but if they're going to be making money, should they be, you know, paying some royalties? I would think they should be. I know some of these games are sold. I mean, stuff like, is it 3D Death Chase? How on earth would you ever get in touch with the guy that actually owns it? But there's still some of these programmers are doing the rounds, you know, so I think at the very least you should ask for permission and give a small payment to them. You know, it's only fair at the end of the day, I would imagine. So yeah, that's it. I've only got, that's me finished talking what I'm talking about. The only thing I've got here, I've got one question from Kev, as usual. Thank you, Kev. For the Friday Waffle, hi Alan. As a parent, do you ever have trouble teaching your daughter proper grammar when video games with crazy numbers are so abundant? A new Wii U game is coming out called Tokyo Mirage Session. What the hell's that again? Oh, it looks like a hash sign, hash FE. I just shake my head when I see a game title like that. A few years ago there was a Nintendo DS game called Kingdom Hearts 358 oblique 2 days. How do you explain sentences that make no sense such as these to a child? When I see boxes in my local game store with titles like Bravely Default or Zero Escape Virtues Last Reward written on them, I feel sorry for any parents hoping to explain grammar to kids. Interesting question, Kev, or subject. I think our generation, my generation, is possibly one of the last generations to sort of like be taught proper English. I'm not I mean, nah, you know what? I would probably say I'm pretty good at English. I do write a lot in my job. I'm able to write with grammar. I may not be able to talk properly, but I can certainly, I know when to punctuate, I know when to put grammar down. To the point that if I send a text message, I will always put apostrophes and, you know, I'll never use LOL. I hate all these things. I use little smile icons, but I'll always write in full. I'll put question marks, I'll put full stops, I'll put commas. That's just the way I am. Now it's kind of got me thinking. Yeah, you get like the grammar police who they'll pull people up for, you know, the inappropriate use of the apostrophe and stuff like that. But when you think about it, things are different nowadays. You know, back when I was a kid, there was no such things as computers. well, there were, the Commodore 64 and that kind of stuff, but, computers weren't used in the workplace. You didn't have smartphones. Writing with hand was something that you did. I can't remember, well, I'm talking nonsense, I had to fill in a form the other day there, but 99% of my writing is done on a computer. Very, very little handwriting. Now, when I see people who can't spell, my immediate reaction is to kind of knock it and say, bloody hell, they're thick. But when you think about it, things are different now. Is there a requirement for people to spell properly? Really, is there a requirement? We've got a computer, we can do a spell check. Your mobile phone autocorrects. Computers autocorrect. Is there really a need now for people to be able to spell and write grammar? You could argue the case and say, well, yeah, absolutely, everybody should be able to write properly. I think it's a dying skill. I don't think it's going to hold back. It's not going to hold back people in any shape or form. I'm quite sure there's going to be, in a few years' time, there's going to be people out there who are hugely successful business people, got really good jobs, but they probably can't spell for toffee, they can't write properly, they can't string a sentence together. Don't get me wrong, if you're going into some kind of, a job that requires writing, computers, and let's be honest, most jobs nowadays do require that, an employer may take a dim view on it if you're not physically able to write emails. I write a lot of emails on my job, I get a lot of emails on my job, and sometimes I'll receive an email from somebody who's more senior than myself, and I find myself looking at it and thinking, bloody hell, look at that, he's misspelled that, you can't spell this, you can't spell that, his use of grammar, it doesn't even make sense. So there are people not being able to write properly or string a sentence together will not hold you back, I wouldn't think. Employers would probably want you to be able to write back. And by the way, please do not, if anybody that's watching this, I do realise there are people who are dyslexic and that kind of thing. That is something that's, that can't be helped. It's not, but I think there's a lot of people who can't spell whatever because they're physically just, they never tried it at school, or they're simply too lazy. But do you think not being able to spell or put grammar in, will that stop people getting on in life? Is that an old-fashioned thing? I think it possibly is, Kevin. I think you and I, in our generation, I think we need to kind of wake up and smell the coffee. I think we need to realise that things are different now. This whole LOL and whatever it is, I just can't. I've always got to type in full because I'm obviously old-fashioned. But yeah, as far as trying to explain to a kid's concerned, I don't know. They will probably understand it. I know sometimes when I'm talking to stuff, to Ava, she'll pull me up for it and say, Dad, that means such and such, and I'm like, right, okay. So I think I'm a bit of a dinosaur as far as grammar and English and the written word goes. My dad was a very, very good writer, and I'd like to think I'm fairly proficient at writing as well. But I do tend to think that the written word is a dying thing. I think you'll find that in 20, 30 years time there'll probably be even less people that can actually type and write properly. So yeah. Anyway, yep, I have that's the end of this waffle, you'll be pleased to hear. I will try and make a bit more of an effort next week to get a few more videos out. I noticed my subscriber levels were going up and down like nothing on earth. I was almost at 690, then it fell and it's back up again. But anyway, I noticed, was it my waffle? No, it wasn't my waffle, it was my shoot 'em ups beginning with the letter A that I put out on Monday. I think I've got 8 thumbs up and I've got 4 down thumbs. Now I know I've got a serial down thumb, can't pronounce it, down thumber. 4 of them. I know I'm like a broken record. I know I keep going on about the down thumb thing. I just don't understand it. You know, you don't stumble across channels like this, retro game channels. You know, if you do a search in YouTube, chances are you might not find your channels. So people that generally find my content, it's because they've already been on another retro channel, gaming channel, so they're going to know what to expect. So if you get a video that says shoot 'em ups that begin with the letter A and you watch it, please don't give it a thumbs down and go, well, that's a lot of bollocks, it's bloody fully shoot 'em ups that begin with the letter A. I thought it was a Minecraft video. The step is in the title, guys. You know, if you make a video completing Manic Miner and it's a guy playing Manic Miner completing it, then surely that's a good video. Why give it a thumbs down? I noticed Novabug, he put up, it was for the Friday, no, YouTuber of the month, and he had, I think it was about 100 odd views, and he had 12 thumb downers. What is that all about? Seriously, you know what, I just simply don't get it. I don't understand the mentality of people doing that. One, yeah, you're always going to get some twat that just, for the sake of it, oh, it's pish, down thumb, probably hasn't even watched it for any more than 10 seconds, but 12, I don't know, totally don't get it. Maybe it's 12 people that have never won it, so they're jealous. Who knows? Who cares? Who gives a shit? Not me anyway. So anyway, listen, that's it guys, we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you as usual to all my subscribers. Thanks to all my new subscribers. If this is a first time video you're watching of mine, please, and you want to see more, please hit that like and subscribe button and you will be notified when I put out some more pish. And lastly guys, thank you very much for watching.